And we are live, and since this will be the finale, let's just get started here because it's going to take a while. Okay. Flowers were sent by a variety of people and businesses to celebrate the Goodwill event. Even the Steel Samurai received some flowers from the ambassadors. There are so many bouquets here, it's like a wedding ceremony. I believe the flowers for those are for a slightly different reason. What do you mean? This event was supposed to be like a wedding between Alabas and Babal, right? Actually, I believe they're more in a state of divorce. Okay, this event was supposed to be their remarriage ceremony. I suppose you could call it that. This was taken just before the two ambassadors gave their bouquets to the Steel Samurai. Wait, is it just my imagination? Or is there something in this picture that I've seen before? I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking cranny. It appears to be a bouquet of Persian cyclamens and roses. Wow, you even know the specific exact species? I never would have figured you for an expert on flowers. It's all because of those flowers that old lady sends me every month. Just look at me, I sound like some sort of botanist. So, what exactly is this yellow flower here? That one, I'm not sure. What? You don't know? As far as I can recall, I've never seen a flower like this before. Never seen a flower like this before, but I feel as though I've seen this shape somewhere before. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? Eureka! Babal's national symbol is the butterfly and Alabas is the flower. It would appear that someone is employing the old hide a tree in a forest trick. What are you mumbling to yourself about? Wait, what? The handle of this knife... Ah! Yes, it's the handle that was supposed to be on the blade that killed Mr. Cochin. The weapon that killed him was carried through the theatrical chalice, in the very bouquet Ambassador Alba was carrying. Commemorative photo data jotted on the organizer. The flower motif. It looks like one of the flower petals is missing. Oh, and take a look at the weapon itself, it's missing the exact same petal. Then the knife in this photo is most definitely the same as the murder weapon. Alabaster knife data updated in my organizer. This. These flowers were sent by Global Studios. Global Studios? That's where they filmed the Steel Samurai television show. They've been producing hit after hit recently, so the studio is being remodeled. Oh, I read about that in the papers the other day. That mascot up there is also getting a facelift too, right? What's his name? You mean Mrs. Monkey? Yeah, I thought it was something like that. You really have a great memory. Ha! Never underestimate my powers of recollection. Hello, and welcome to the Embassy of Babal. I'm sorry, but I don't really need to enter your country this time. Right now, for a limited time here at the Bubbly's Embassy, we're offering the very special Experience the Terrifying Fire's Ashes tour. So how about it? Shall I sign you up? We're fine, thanks. We have an investigation to run. Yes? The investigation. We've come too far to give up. We must expose Ambassador Alba's misdeeds, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, of course. And we've got to find a way to steal the truth and get it out there, for my father's sake. Yes, and we will. The reason for Ambassador Alba's nervousness must still be here somewhere. Furthermore, I need to pin down exactly what happened in here. I'll start by thoroughly examining this room for any information I can find. Agitated Alba? Mr. Edgeworth, if you don't pay attention, Ambassador Alba's gonna get away. Yes, I know. Now hurry up and do that swing. Now hurry up and do that thing you always do. Swing. I have no idea what you're talking about. What? You don't? Oh, come on, you know what I'm talking about. That thing you do. Are you talking about logic? Yes, that's it. So hurry up and already. Alright. To be honest, it's been a bit hard to connect everything up until just now, but by just looking. However, I should be able to piece things together if I take another look at my leads. Perhaps now's the best time to use logic and reason my way to the truth. On the orders of Ambassador Alba, no one is allowed into Albast. But I thought a lady with a whip passed through here not too long ago. She was from Interpol and had the proper paperwork. So while I was reluctant, I had to let her in. Sounds like Francisco, right? Besides, if I didn't... that whip of hers... Yep, definitely Francisca. Flowers were sent by a variety of people and businesses to celebrate the Goodwill event. Even the Steel Samurai received some flowers from the ambassadors. There are so many bouquets, it's like... Oh yes, that's right, we've already used this space out. I already checked this area earlier, but it never hurts taking a look. Yes, we've looked here already. I suppose we'll have to use some logic. But we're a little at risk here, so I'm going to have to be careful. Perhaps there's something to do with the renovations that... No. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Perhaps he really doesn't want us to investigate Cochin's counterfeiting operation. No. Let's figure that ever happened as well. Yes. Okay, about this piece of evidence. Huh? May I really have it? But you know, as the autographer, it'd be bad if I couldn't get this by myself. Sorry, but I have no intention of giving you this piece of evidence. Oh really? I guess I misunderstood. I feel like I've had a very similar conversation with someone else before. It's a backdrop they used in the Steel Samurai stage show today. I loved the climax of that show. Steel Samurai Sushi Slice! That was the first time I'd seen that special move. But, well, the Gem Ninja stage show's climax was much better, of course. Oh, is that a fact? That scene where he sang for Princess Mysola and gave her those hair sticks? I could totally feel the love there in my heart. Perhaps the Gem Ninja is just more popular with female audiences? Looked at this. No, we can't put anything together. Yes? Uncle Bat entrusted you with this piece of evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. I think he believes that you're the one who will finally bring the truth to light. And I believe in you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Okay. What have we not looked at? I already checked this area earlier, but it never hurts to take another look. There's that troublemaker standing there smack in the center of making two peace signs. Wow, the Steel Samurai stands out even more than the two ambassadors in this picture. Oh hey, the person playing the Steel Samurai is one of your friends, right? No, I have no idea who he is. Wait, but you just said he. You must know which gender he was, so you must know him, right? I beg that you please refrain from talking about that person with me ever again. Mr. Plano has a really great smile, don't you think? I bet he's really happy that they were going to become Kidopia again. Perhaps, but instead he became the greatest victim in today's case. An ambassador like him who was always thinking of his country is really to be admired. Yeah, although this happened, I hope they'll be able to reunite the country someday. I hope so as well, but for that to happen, we need to solve this case first. We need to see to it that those who would harm the new Kidopia are locked away. And we will! I can't believe he was pretending to be a harmless old grandpa. Talk about deceptive. I don't suppose anyone expects him to change that drastically. I bet he's thinking of something evil behind that cheery smile. Okay, please try to remain calm and focused on the here and now. Yeah, you're right, so I got all worked up there. Well, the only way we're going to be able to steal the truth is if we keep on investigating. Yes? So I guess these counterfeits were made with Babley's ink. Come to think of it, I remember hearing on the news the other day that the Republic of Zhengfa, where these bills are coming from, is in an economic mess. It's common knowledge that money rules the hearts of men. And when that money turns out to be fake and all-encompassing confusion is the result. Ha! And that's when the autocracy makes her stand. I'm going to use my iron fists of justice on each and every counterfeiter, you'll see. I appreciate your sense of justice, however. I would appreciate it if you wouldn't go running into the heart of any more raging fires. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth, I'll try. Wait a minute, maybe it's been in front of us all along. Perhaps. Yes. We know that the counterfeit bills were printed using the embassy's press, but the necessary materials such as the Babyliss ink and paper must have been hidden in a secure location. But what do you think would have happened if the renovation had begun? Well, he probably had to find a better hiding place or get rid of it all. Right. So we can assume that the renovation was the cause of the plate and bills disposal, and the reason Mr. Cochin was killed as the ringleader of the smuggling operation. Based on what we know, who do you think was the one with the most to gain? Quercus Alba. It's the one person who has been erasing all evidence of the smuggling operation, from both embassies. The co-conspirator who is mopping up Ambassador Alba. Ambassador Alba had a very strong motive to kill Manny Cochin. Alba could conveniently place all of the guilt for the smuggling onto Cochin. Which is perhaps why he's so agitated into our investigation. The cause of Ambassador Alba's agitation, the rotten treasure we may find, and the motive for killing Mr. Cochin. Miss Yu said it herself that she didn't kill anyone tonight. If we were to take her words at face value, then the reason for the ambassador's nervousness can only be one thing. He didn't want us to discover the real circumstances under which Mr. Cochin was killed. Then you mean Ambassador Alba is the real killer? But I thought the two of them were friends. Maybe they were, but what if Mr. Cochin was the one who first betrayed their friendship? Oh, I get it. Wasn't Mr. Cochin pushing really hard for Mr. Plano to be ambassador after the reunification? Yes, and that was the real reason why he wanted to steal Alabas's Primadox statue. So Mr. Cochin hired Demask II to go steal it for him. But when Ambassador Alba found out what he was up to, he killed Mr. Cochin? It is definitely a possibility at this point. Those two were really thinking of no one but themselves. But the question now is, how did he do it? Ambassador Alba was an Alabast. But Mr. Cochin's body was discovered in Babal, right? Right. And that is what we must solve next. I believe we now understand why Ambassador Alba was so nervous and agitated. It must have something to do with where Mr. Cochin was killed. A place where the Alabastian ambassador was likely to meet the Babyliss Mr. Cochin. The place where Ambassador Alba happened to have committed the murder is... Take that! The only place that makes sense here is at the Theatrum Neutralis. What? Here? The Goodwill event was being held here today, correct? So the only place that the both of them would have been is here. But if that's the case, then everything changes. This theater isn't actually Alabastian land. So then that wipes out one of those extraterritorial rights he has. It makes logical sense, in which case it is a reason for us to investigate further. So what should we check out? Let's see. I believe we should check the immigration records of both Alabasta and Babal post-haste. Babal's records should be easy to obtain, however the problem will be Alabast. I wonder if they would allow us to see their records despite the order to vacate. Objection! I'm already fenced up ahead of you, Marius at first. Franziska, I have here the security footage from both Alabast and Babal. You would do well to take a look at its contents. Security footage data jotted down by organizer. We had a few mishaps, Franziska. 2 of them, to be precise. But we made what do with what we had. You move fast. A van camera strives to be perfect in every way. It's not in my nature to keep on retreating like this. I took the liberty of looking over the Babal investigation reports as well. From now on, you will make no excuse to back down or say that we can't solve this case. I'm sorry about earlier. We won't be beaten, because my cute little subordinate is going to try his very best, isn't he? Hasn't she patronized me enough already for a lifetime? So this video contains footage from Alabasta immigration screening area? I really hope there's something in here that we can use. Which minute's footage should I examine? 5:22 PM. I can't believe how completely fooled I was by the way he carried himself. He had me fooled too. According to the files I had sent for earlier, Ambassador Alba was a Cadopian hero. He saved the royal family from danger countless times. So what bothers me is, why would a man like that create a smuggling ring? Even with all the authority I have, I still haven't been able to figure out why. It sounds like the ambassador was a hero who was corrupted by evil. But no matter what happened in the past, we can't let the man he is now escape justice. Which minute's footage should I examine? 5:23 PM. Doesn't something about this lump-shaped strike you as odd? Huh? Isn't it supposed to be this shape? No, there's clearly something odd about the bulge. If only we had the pushcart itself, we could compare and confirm my hunch. Pushcart data jotted down by organizer. Next, let us check the footage from Babal's security camera. I hope it shows us something good. Phooey, there wasn't a single sign of a suspicious person or anything. That right there is the contradiction. Huh? Did I miss something? You didn't miss anything, because there was nothing to miss. However, what is missing is the image of Mr. Cochin entering his own country. But wasn't his body found in Babal? It would appear that the true face of our final puzzle has finally revealed itself. Investigation complete. Finally, we have some more logic to work around with. Ambassador Alba.
I thought I had asked for you and your group to vacate the premises, Mr. Edgeworth.
Actually, I thought I should let you know that this theatre sits on my country's soil.
You've had your fun, and I've enjoyed our little game. I dare say you've even achieved a new high score. However, once you've recorded a score, that same game can never be replayed again. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Your game is done, and it's game over.
No. Objection! Where do you think you're going at this time of night?
After admitting to my crime, I was overcome with regret. So I'm heading to the airport now to return home.
I'm afraid I can't let you do that. There are still too many issues we need to discuss with you.
You can't stop me, Mr. Edgeworth, and you know it.
Hold it. Please, may I have a little bit of your time, Ambassador Alba?
Ambassador Plano.
Even just a teeny tiny bit is fine with me. The already strained relationship between our countries is in a precarious situation, you know.
Very well. If you insist, I will play just one more round with them and see what they want. Not that they'll get any farther.
Ambassador Plano. Mr. Edgeworth. All I wish for is the normalization of relations between our two countries. But there's one person standing in the way of that dream. I believe in you. You'll do what's right. Thank you for your vote of confidence.
Now then, what was it you wanted to ask me about? I do have a flight to catch after all, so I'm afraid I'm going to limit you to just one question.
That's more than enough because I only have one question anyway. I want to hear your alibi about how you couldn't have killed Mr. Manicochin.
I see. You seem to have a good hand this time around. This should be fun.
This really is the very last chance we have to bring him down. I won't allow even an atom-sized contradiction to slip by. Testimony of Ambassador Alba's alibi.
Frankly, I still don't understand why I'm being placed under suspicion here. Under your hypothetical scenario, Mr. Cochin and I were fellow smugglers. But to get to the point, I was an alibis the whole time. So it's simply not possible for me to have killed him in Baval. That is my alibi.
So that is your alibi?
That is correct. It's simply not possible for me to have committed a crime in Baval. Now that we've cleared that up, I'd appreciate if you would move out of my way.
Hold it! Hold it! I said hold it!
What is it this time? I thought I told you I'd only allow one question.
You did. But you still have yet to really answer my one question.
What?
Until you tell us the truth, I will refuse to budge an inch from where I'm standing.
Very well. I'll play along with you just a little longer.
Mild adverse, as my subordinate and representative of this country's prosecutors. You are forbidden to lose. Of course, that is something I've understood from the start. That guy's the one who ordered my father killed, isn't he? Yes, I believe so. The goal of the first Yadagrass was the capture of the smuggling ring's leader. My father and Uncle Pat, their legacy will live on through me. So that's why we've just got to catch him, okay? We will, I promise. Now, Ambassador Alba, let's have the truth now, shall we?
No matter how many times you ask, my answer remains the same.
Rebuttal Ambassador Alba's alibi. Alba's alibi. That's interesting. So this one.
But to get to the point, I was in Alabas the whole time.
Objection! Wait, what? But the footage showed that he This piece of evidence will reveal the whole sad tale to us.
I have no interest in listening to such a story. The only story I'm interested in is the glorious one of my shining life. Shall I write you into one of its pages? Consider it an honor.
That's quite alright. He didn't even bat an eye. I suppose this wasn't related after all.
So it's simply not possible for me to have killed him in Babal. That is my alibi.
Objection! Nope. We need to be more careful. That statement just now stands in clear contradiction to this evidence.
No, it doesn't.
But that's impossible.
The prosecutors of this country are you all prone to pointing out non-existent contradictions? How frightening it is to think that it might be true.
I can't let him drag me down with his insults. So Mr. Cochin was a friend of Ambassador Alba. If that's true, then why did the ambassador kill him? It's not like in the case of my father where he ordered someone to do it. The problem we have here is we don't know what their exact relationship was. Indeed. If they had complete trust in each other, then there was no motive for murder. However, both men were very selfish, and I believe that is from where his motive arose.
But to get to the point, I was in Alabas the whole time.
Hold it! And what exactly did you do while you were in Alabast?
I had a meeting with the Steel Samurai, and then I arranged a few files. Around that time, that thief who was sneaking in took me by surprise.
Objection! Objection! Are you saying that it was Damask II that made the first move?
Yes. And it was after I was attacked that I hit him on the head with the Primadox statue. Unfortunately, he died from the blow, but it was an act of justified self-defense.
Objection! Calling it that doesn't cover up what you really did.
Cover up? No, my boy, I'm not covering up anything. I'll tell the truth.
You weren't planning to admit to it, which is why you tried to frame the Steel Samurai. If you weren't an ambassador, I'd be letting my Viv fly loose on you right now.
I'm terribly sorry that I didn't clear the body better, but I'm a busy man. I had a speech to give in the Rose Garden after that, you know.
Objection! Yet despite that, you still had time to kill Mr. Cochin, didn't you?
Objection! Man is evil, and I'm sure you are familiar with the facts, but Mr. Cochin was killed in Babalwas, and it was all the way Alabast. So it's simply not possible for me to have killed him in Babal. That is my alibi.
Hold it! Hold it! You insist that it's not possible for you to have killed Mr. Cochin in Babal. And you are correct.
Oh, I thought you would put up a bit more of a fight, but if you must concede to me...
The only thing I am conceding is that it's not possible for you to kill him in Babal. I am not conceding that your alibi is the truth.
Oh, I see. However, no matter how you try, no, you can't crush my alibi.
You would be wise not to underestimate a prosecutor of this country.
We'll see about that.
So Mr. Cochin was a friend of Ambassador Alba. If that's true, then why did the ambassador kill him? It's not like in the case of my father where he ordered someone to do it. The problem we have here is we don't know what their exact relationship was. Indeed, if they had complete trust in each other, then there is no motive for murder. However, both men were very selfish, and I believe that is from where his motive arose.
Under your hypothetical scenario, Mr. Cochin and I were fellow smugglers.
Hold it! It's not a hypothesis. Earlier we proved it to be what happened.
No,
Hey Ben.
my jacks. I mean,
We're currently trying to. This is what I was telling you about, Ben. Where he's like,
I have a flight to catch.
it's this boy. He was about to leave and just walk right past us, but the ambassador of the other country's like, please, I ask that you just give them a little bit of time because, well, our country's relations are severed as is, and I would like to see my secretary's death looked into. He's like,
I'll give them one question.
so we're on a test swing right now.
Ooh.
Who are you playing?
no. Someone beat me to Clegg.
Well, let's leave that to one side for now. Because it doesn't change the fact that I have no motive.
Oh.
Yes, Bolly Bear and Mordonis.
What?
Last game was really
Oh.
rough early, and their vein was salting, but then
Of course.
we caught up because Katarina got a bunch of really lucky ults off. Where
That's
someone
good.
could have very easily interrupted her and was like, no, I'm gonna go for the Nunu, who's full tank.
Yeah, so basically, Ben, of course, like most final villains, they had a transformation. So at first, this guy was like, "Oh, I need to go this way," and then he's like, because he's hunched back most of the time, and then he just goes upright and like doubles in size, basically. And he's like a very long retired war veteran. Oh, so you really had no reason to kill Mr. Cochin?
If you want to suppose I had one, then why not? I'll indulge you. After all, this is nothing more than a silly game to me.
Even if that's how you see things, I'd appreciate it if you would take me seriously.
I'm sorry, I suppose you're in a bit of a pickle. Very well, a game is no fun if the playing field isn't level. Therefore, I formally claim that I had no motive to kill. Now let's see you disprove it.
How can he stand there looking proud when he knows he killed another human being? Well, I'm not going to stand by and just watch him get away with his crimes.
In that case, what motive would I have had to kill my co-conspirator?
Well, let's find out. Objection! That statement directly contradicts this piece of evidence.
Does it now? Not that it really matters to me either way. But are you really sure my statement contradicts that piece of evidence?
Judging by his overconfident attitude, I guess this piece of evidence wasn't related to his statement after all. Miles, Edgeworth! You can't chase him down with that kind of evidence. Yes, I know. I must think calmly and rationally about this. Because it's not impossible to take this man down.
In that case, what motive would I have had to kill my co-conspirator?
Well, let's see.
Wait, so what's the criteria for getting a S token?
An S token? What do you mean? Oh,
An S token for champion.
it depends if it's level 6, level 7.
Level 6. I don't have any level 6.
Oh, you just need an S minus or higher.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what?
I've gotten S's on champions for and just not gotten the. I guess it's because they're not level 5 yet.
That would explain it a lot, actually, yeah.
Only person that I have at level 5 is Gragas, and I never get S's on him. AP Gragas is difficult to have a perfect KDA with.
It is, but it's really fun.
Yeah, it's fun, but it's not likely to get S's, at least from my experience.
Hold it! Are you serious that just because you are partners that you had no motive to kill?
I'm only following your hypothetical scenario to its logical conclusion.
Looks like he's not going to admit to it himself that it was in leagues with Mr. Cochin. I suppose not. But I do know his relation to the smuggling ring and to Mr. Cochin. You mean he's the ringleader and that Mr. Cochin was a subordinate, right? Correct, but I know more than just that. Miss Onkarma, I'm sure you remember the safe in Mr. Cochin's office, correct? Yes, the safe had 2 compartments to it, didn't it? Yes, and why do you think those stolen goods were being stored in Mr. Cochin's office? Could it be because he was trying to cheat Ambassador Alba behind his back? So Mr. Cochin didn't turn the goods over, but said it instead to keep them for himself. I suppose that's possible. It seems to me that both men were only concerned with their own wealth and well-being. Well, yeah, they're both high-ranking members in a smuggling ring. I think they both are only concerned with themselves. Oh, hello, Gateway. Getway. Then that means that maybe they didn't have a trusting relationship after all. What Ambassador Alba had to gain, I believe that is his motive for killing Mr. Cochin.
What are you people whispering about amongst yourselves over there?
Ah, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. Now, let's continue with your testimony.
In that case, what motive would I have had to kill my co-conspirator?
Objection! What? This piece of evidence will reveal the whole sad tale to us.
I have no interest in listening to such a story.
I'm good, how about yourself?
The only story I'm interested in is the glorious one of my shining life. Shall I write you into one of its pages? Consider it an honor.
That's quite alright. He didn't even bat an eye. I suppose this wasn't related after all.
In that case, what motive would I have had to kill my co-conspirator?
Objection! Nope.
In that case, what motive would I have had to kill my co-conspirator?
Objection! Finally. Okay, I was presenting the right evidence, just not the right piece. I was trying to say that it was because of the switching of the statues. I had to present the... Ah, God. If you want to know, I believe you did have a motive to kill. It was because Mr. Cochin had betrayed you. But you had your own reason, too. Namely, you wanted to pin the smuggling all on him. Evil begets evil, and because you were trying to test each other, it turned into this mess.
Objection! I don't believe this. You have had a bad penchant for telling tall tales, Mr. Prosecutor. And if you're not, then I suppose you have some proof to support your arguments.
I never use guesswork in moving my cases forward. It has been proven that this note was written by Mr. Cochin's hand. Shall we take a look at it? The content of the note is a request calling for the theft of the Alabast's Primaduck statue. Here, actually, I'm gonna do something real quick. Load save so we have more health going forward. Let's just backtrack real quickly here. Hold it. Hold it.
In that case, what motive would I have to kill my co-conspirator?
Objection! Oh, France, huh?
We just beat the shit out of him there.
Nice.
Nino on Earth is broke.
Yeah. We have
Bye, everybody.
we have a viewer from France.
Nice.
Objection!
Huh.
The content of the notice is a request calling for the theft of Alabaster's Primaduck statue. By killing him and pushing all of the guilt for the smuggling onto him, you walk away spotless. I believe you understand what I'm driving at. You had more than a few reasons to kill him.
Objection! Are you finished with your hypothesizing?
Excuse me?
Let's suppose I did have a motive. Even so, a motive or a thought alone can't kill. Isn't that right?
I didn't expect him to resort to playing this semantics game with me. It appears that this is where the real battle will begin.
Now then, if you'll excuse me.
Here we go, Bino. He does this the whole time.
Tries to leave.
Yep, the whole time. Oh, you think so? Wait, what?
I told you at the very beginning, didn't I? You only get one question.
Ambassador Alba, if you could please give us just a little bit more of your time. It doesn't matter what kind of man Manny was, he was my subordinate. Which is why I would like for us to figure out the real cause of his death.
That is something for Babal to figure out, and something to which I have no relation to.
Ah! Now he's even turning down a request from Ambassador Paleno. What do you mean by your accent is horrible?
Oof.
No. The viewer says that he can't really speak about accents because his accent, he's French and his accent is horrible. Which I don't know what he means by that. Now he's even turning down a request from Ambassador Paleno. I'm very sorry, but it seems that now even my voice falls on deaf ears. There is no need for you to apologize, Ambassador Paleno. We must find some way to stop him from leaving.
It seems there are no further objections. In that case, please allow me to return home.
Here we go. Yep, and he's leaving. Wait, what? Hold it! Hold it right there, Ambassador Alba. Oh, he means that he has a bad English accent. Okay. Like I said, Mr. Edgeworth, the Yadagras's legacy will live on through me. Yes, but how do you suggest we stop him from leaving? You just leave that to me. Ambassador Alba, do you recognize this?
No, and why should I recognize that tattered old organizer?
Wait, where have I seen that before? That is a clue my father, Byrne Faraday, left for us.
Did you say Byrne Faraday?
Mr. Faraday's organizer? Don't tell me this is the event from the second KG8 incident. The one in which he wrote down the wrote about the Yadagras's key? Yes. This organizer belonged to the prosecutor you had Miss Yu kill 7 years ago.
I have no idea what you are talking about. You say that like it was related to me.
Inside this organizer, he wrote up every detail of every evil thing you did.
What an amusing little girl you are, but that sort of trickery won't work on me.
If you won't believe me, then take a look at this.
And what is that toy there? That's...
This thievery device was used by the Yadagrasu, or rather by my father. 7 years ago, he used this when he snuck into this embassy.
What?
These two pieces of evidence that hold information the Yadagrasu dug up on you. If you go home now, I won't hesitate to send it all to Alabaster right behind you.
Little girl, get
I want you to go up against Mr. Edgeworth one more time. If you win, then I'll hand over these 2 pieces of evidence.
You're the grotto! Ever the thorn in my side.
Kay, does that organizer really contain any information on his dirty dealings? It's nothing case-breaking, really. Ah, then it was just a bluff. Even if it was, we still can't let all the info my father and Uncle Bad found out go to waste. Plus, just the existence of Little Thief is troublesome enough for him. Those 2 pieces, aren't they keepsakes of your father? It's okay, I believe in Mr. Edgeworth. He'll come out on top in the end. Okay. When the going gets tough, someone's gotta be there to put the wind back in your sails. After all this time, you're still quite the feisty one. I applaud your powerful nature. I refuse to lose this tour. Ambassador Alba, you won't be returning home until you give us further testimony.
How dare you all barring a person like me?
Ambassador Alba, your testimony if you please.
Alright, but this is the absolute last. Then even if you use all the power of Ambassador Polito's office, you won't stop me.
Do you like Ace Attorney? Oh, I'm asking the fan watching. Or the viewer, I mean. I can't let this opportunity Kay has created for me to go to waste. Oh, here we go. Final testimony. Testimony Alba's Alibi Part 2.
The last time I met with Mr. Coachman was here at the Theatrum Neutralis. After that, I was in Alabasta the rest of the time, as I stated earlier. In any case, I did not see Mr. Coachman again after that. So you see, there's no time span in which I could have killed him, wouldn't you agree?
Oh, Bennett's playing the suspense theme.
Now, since you people were practically begging, I'll allow you to question me.
What an arrogant old man. Yes, but no matter. We can't allow this chance to escape us.
I will warn you, though, you've reached the end of my patience.
Oh, he's doubled up on the penalty, so if we get something wrong, it deals double the damage.
Waste my time with any innate questions and you will be punished.
So wait, we get damaged for pressing on the wrong statement as well?
Oof.
Oof. At least it's not like that one Phoenix Wright case where if you press the wrong statement, you lose instantly, and you couldn't use any evidence. You just had to press on the right statement. So any needless pressing or presenting will cost more to our case? In that case, the only thing you can do is to present the correct evidence. Understood? Of course. I don't intend to let him intimidate me. I know Mr. Coachman was killed before he returned to Babol. In which case, there is only one statement to which I need to present the evidence. Rebuttal, Alba's Alibi Part 2. How's your game going, Bino?
We won.
Huh? You guys won?
We won.
Nice. Save state, here we go, because I might die a lot on this testimony.
We're gonna lose this one, though.
The one that you're just in game with?
Yeah.
So you see, there's no time span in which I could have killed him, wouldn't you agree?
Hold it! Your alibi is that there was no time span in which you could have killed Mr. Coachman?
Yes, because I was in the theater watching the stage show.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, do you remember seeing him sitting in the audience? I'm sorry, but I don't remember anything outside of what was going on stage. You shouldn't have been so focused on this show and paid attention to your surroundings. Mr. Edgeworth, it is a fact that Ambassador Alba came to the theater, but I guess you didn't know that because you didn't see him at the Steel Samurai show. Well, I do recall that he and you had a photo shoot with the Steel Samurai.
It looks like you are finally beginning to understand. Now then, will that be all?
No, wait, I'm not finished yet.
Objection! You're not very good at listening, are you? I told you that I don't have the time to listen to a bunch of useless questions.
Oh, so he's lost health for pressing. God dang it. Let's see what he said. Yeah, the franchise is fun. I haven't played Professor Layton either, to be honest. Ugh, the time remaining for me to find the truth has just been blown away. Amazing. Diplomats really do know how to craft answers that don't answer anything. So if the only place he met the victim was at this theater, then when was he killed? We know that Mr. Cochin didn't return to Babol alive, which means that the only time he could have been killed is when they were both here. And that means that he was planning to kill Mr. Cochin from the start. What?
Just playing with someone, jungling with someone who you're not in a voice call with is bad.
Oh, yeah.
We tried to go to separate camps, and then tried to go to the camp that the other person was at the same time.
Wait, what? You went to the same camp at the same time? Well, yeah.
No, we went to
Oh,
go to
different.
camps.
Oh!
We tried to go to the other person's camp without any coordination, so.
That's funny, though.
In any case, I did not see Mr. Cochin again after that. Hold it!
So you never saw Mr. Cochin again after you left this theater?
That's correct. I'm an incredibly busy man, you know. It was more likely that Mr. Cochin ran to Ambassador Paleto.
Even now, you would push his murder onto someone else? How dare you, saying that I would kill Manny? Ambassador Alba, I demand that you refrain from making baseless conjectures.
I was merely offering a possibility. No, this won't do. I can already see this turning into an international incident.
Who exactly is pressing who here? In any case, what I need to do is stay positive and forge on.
Now then, will that be all?
No, wait, I'm not finished it.
Objection! You're not very good at...
Oh, yeah. We pressed the wrong statement again. Shoot. You know, I'm gonna load state file here. There we go. Just so that we aren't missing any health here.
What the fuck?
So you see, there's no time span in which I could have killed him, wouldn't you agree?
Why did we take that fight? That was dumb. That's really dumb.
Objection! Oops. That statement just now stands in clear contradiction with this evidence.
No, it doesn't.
But that's impossible.
The prosecutors of this country, are you all prone mind up pointing out non-existent contradictions? How frightening it is to think that it might be true.
I can't let him drag me down with his insults.
So you see, there's no time span in which I could have killed him, wouldn't you agree?
I believe there was a time period, but... What are you spamming for, Bina?
Earth.
Oh, that's fair.
Yep.
Who are you right now again?
Jax.
Oh, that makes sense.
So it's big spammy time in the Jax Club. Oh shit. God damn it. Master Yi is still just Master Yi, so...
Of course.
In any case, I did not see Mr. Cochin again after that.
Objection! Oops. Okay, let's see. Okay, we need to step back here and think about this here. So let's take it statement by statement.
The last time I met with Mr. Cochin was here at the Theatrum Neutralis.
Okay, that's reasonable.
After that, I was in Alabaster the rest of the time, as I stated earlier.
Okay, that's reasonable.
In any case, I did not see Mr. Cochin.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
So you said there's no time in which I could have killed him, wouldn't you agree?
Well, actually, these two statements are...
So you see, there is no time span in which I could have killed him, wouldn't you agree?
Let's think about this here piece by piece, okay. No. 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 No.
No! Lucian, why would you do that?
What happened?
Dashing directly into Karthus' face. Fucking epic. We barely lost because he did that.
Maybe they fired some before.
What?
What happened?
People are just overextending and giving the enemy team kills, drawing our lead. Ari is 10-3 purely because our ADCs just keep overextending directly into her face. This is epic time. Also, they have Wukong. Doesn't help at all.
Wukong's busted.
Wukong is really busted right now, especially with Dark Harvest. done. At the very least.
The last time I met with Mr. Cochin was here at the Theatrum Neutralis. Hold it!
You met with the victim here?
I was watching the Steel Samurai, as he was Mr. Cochin, who was sitting nearby.
I've been meaning to ask, why invite the Steel Samurai as a guest for an embassy event?
I like Steel Samurai, Daddy, so I asked for him to be at the event.
I see. So it was by Ambassador Alba's request.
Now then, will that be all?
Can we not...
Objection!
Can we not press on any statement here?
When Wukong can even kill the Garen, is epic style.
That's a little much.
Yeah. Dark Harvest. It's fine.
Well, let's see if we can't press this one.
After that, I was in
Mastering
Alabasta
the
the rest of the time, as I stated earlier. Hold it!
Do you have anyone who can testify that you never left Alabasta after that?
Of course I do. I was in front of a large crowd to give my speech, wasn't I?
I guess he's not lying about being in Alabasta the whole time. Yes, as long as he is willing to admit to Demask II's murder, then I suppose so. But he keeps saying that it was justified self-defense. Oh, I get it. Okay, so what if I were to pretend being all hollow and sunken, and then I run into a klutzy person? Could I call that self-defense? That's not self-defense, that's just being careless. Well, you never know until you try. I suggest that you don't, especially since you've given me a statement of intent.
Now then, will that be up?
No! Okay.
Objection!
Okay, let's load state. So, we know that we can't press on anything. Let's see, so he's saying that he met him here the last time, he left, didn't kill him because there was no span of time to do so. But is there anything that we can... I'm thinking the fires, maybe.
So you see, there's no time span in which I could have killed him, wouldn't you agree?
Objection! Nope. It's been so long since I've played this game.
So you see, there's no time span in which I could have killed him, wouldn't you agree?
Do we have anything that could... Objection! No. I don't see it. I remember this part being very hard, though. It's just been so long. Yeah, no, pressing does nothing. So both Getway and Portland both of you have played this game. And I've got to do it by myself, though.
So you see, there's no time spent in which I could have killed him, wouldn't you agree?
Objection! It was the photo, are you serious? Okay, this is my problem. The fact is, he said that there was no time span in which he could have killed him, but all this photo does is show there's a murder weapon. That doesn't say that there's a time span in which he could have... Oh, wait, but it implies he could have killed him here then because he got it. Okay, I see. I'd like you to take a look at this picture.
It's a rather nice picture, isn't it? It was to commemorate the restoration of relations between our nations.
That was a lot of Asians. Oh, it's commemorative, alright. One that captures the proof I need to show that it was you who committed the murder.
Come again.
This is the knife that killed Mr. Cochin. I see you recognize it as well. Right, as well you should. For it is you who brought it to this theater. Yeah, these games have weird logic sometimes, but I can kind of see it afterwards. It's just at first it's hard to wrap your head around. You hid it in among the flower to give the steel samurai. Meaning that you killed Manny Cochin here at the theater. I know, right? Like, one of the hardest contradictions in any of the games that I remember is in Trials and Tribulations in the 3rd episode with the fake Phoenix Wright. There was one contradiction where you had to disprove the old man, contradict him, or showing the contradiction where he says that he was drinking with his right hand, and it's really his left hand or whatever, and it's really his right hand, but you had to do it based on the coffee mark on the mug.
It's time for me to catch my flight.
Objection! We're not through yet.
Objection! It's game over for you, Mr. Edgeworth. But I thank you for the entertainment. No matter how passionately you orate, the end result will still be the same. I won't be returning this country ever again.
That's right. This man is an ambassador and he has extraterritorial rights. No matter how hard we chase after him, we won't be able to have him tried in court.
Yes, it's exactly the face you should be making. The face of a worthless cur. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, I must bid you farewell.
The courts, is there Is there no one who can lay a finger on this man? Is this really the end? Not so fast! Agent Lang! Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Prosecutor.
Get out of my way! My plane is scheduled to take off soon.
Sorry, but you're not going anywhere, Mr. Alba.
I'm through playing games with you people. You can't touch me. If you do, it would spark an international incident, Agent Lang.
Sorry, but no, it wouldn't.
What?
Hey, Mr. Prosecutor. Good job holding the fort down here until I got back. So, Mr. Alba, your diplomatic immunity has just been revoked.
What do you mean, revoked? Spare me this nonsense and let me through.
Not so fast! Long Tzu says before aiming for the throat, chew the neck shield off first. Interpol headquarters in the Imperial household of the Kingdom of Alabast. Took a while to get things rolling, but they finally moved on it.
The Imperial household? You. What have you done?
You have been relieved of your duties as ambassador, Mr. Alba.
What?
Effective today, effective right now. And you have Mr. Prosecutor's videotape to thank for this. The video of the autographs are protected? You can't be arrested simply because you're an ambassador. Okay, sorry, I was talking to my little brother. In that case, I thought I'd strip you of that title. You underestimated me, a descendant of the founder of detainment philosophy, Long Tzu. 4,000 years of deeply entrenched connections and networks around the world have really paid off.
It can't be! I don't believe this! My ambassadorship has been revoked.
Looks like you're finally coming to grips with your new standing. Woohoo! Looks like he's turned docile again. He's probably in shock from the loss of his shield. What a shame. I had so wanted to use my weapon.
Why is this happening to me? I'm just a hard-working, honest ambassador.
Not so fast! Do you really think you can still pull that on us now? We've already ripped away the mask and seen you for who you really are, Mr. Alba.
Objection! No! I won't be stopped now!
He still intends to fight us?
So what if I'm no longer an ambassador? You still don't have any evidence on me. The fact remains that you cannot arrest me.
Huh. I'd expect no less from you, the boss of the smuggling ring. Well, the rest is up to you, Mr. Prosecutor. Understood.
You say that I killed Mr. Coach in the theater, but even if it's true that there was a knife in my bouquet, I left that bouquet in the theater, so anyone could have taken it out from there and used it, right? Besides, the claim that he was killed here itself is odd. After all, wasn't his body discovered in Babal? Babal? Are you claiming that I carried his body all the way over there? Preposterous.
Objection! I'll be the one to prove whether it's preposterous or not. Ex-Ambassador Alba, are you ready? Because this is no game. This is war. Testimony Ambassador Alba's Alibi, Part 3.
I killed Mr. Coach in this theater using a knife that was stuck in my bouquet. I left that bouquet in the theater. Anyone could have taken the knife from there. Besides, Mr. Cochin's body was discovered in Babal, right? There is no way for me to have transported his body from the theater to Babal. Look, don't you think you've had enough fun with me? You've already stolen my ambassadorship from me. Would you have me surrender too?
Not so fast! You have no plans to ever return to this country, isn't that right? Did you know that a bunch of your subordinates are seeking asylum because of you?
As if I care.
Oh, so that's what he means by that. So basically, all his conspirators are afraid to go back to their home because of the fact that they're in this organization. So, hey, Mr. Prosecutor, boot this guy out of the embassy and we can finally end everything. Everything. I know, and I will give it my all to see that he leaves in handcuffs. Without the title of ambassador, he's just another witness. Yes, just another witness. Alright, what are we waiting for? Let's get this guy. And get him good. I wonder if they understand that all I can do is present evidence of the testimony. Rebuttal. Alba's Alibi, Part 3.
There is no way for me to have transported his body from the theater to Babal.
Objection! Actually, I do believe there was a way to transport the body out of the theater. Perhaps you should give this a look.
What is that supposed to be?
It's footage from a security camera that captured the state of the immigration area.
Should I congratulate you on getting your hands on it?
Just let you know that we're not the only ones watching your every movement.
Thank you for the warning.
Now, if you could take a good look at this section here. This lump here inside the pushcart, do you know what's causing it?
Should I? Because I don't.
In that case, allow me to enlighten you. This is the cause of the unnatural lump under the cloth in the pushcart. Take that!
What is the meaning of showing me that?
Are you guys still enjoying the stream? It's to say that the unnatural bulge in the pushcart is at Mr. Cochin's body. You had the steel samurai wheel his body away from the real crime scene.
What a guess. But I wonder if you have any evidence to support it.
I admit that for now it is but a hypothesis, however... Oh, you do? I'm so happy for that. That's always something I love to hear.
If you can't prove it, then I'm afraid I must be on my way. I don't have any more time to play with you people.
Hold it! Sorry it took so long, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Gummy? Detective Gumshoe, is that the Steel Samurai's pushcart? Yes, sir, I found it in the open-air stage area. So that's where you went. The detective spirit that Pops left me with. I thought I'd follow my gut and go with it, sir. So, Mr. Edgeworth, is this worth anything to the case? Yes, it just might play a major role in solving this case, Detective. But something isn't right. I thought that the entire samurai family was in Alabast. Where exactly in the open-air stage area did you find this pushcart? I found it just lying there at the edge of the stage, sir. Oh, well, let's leave that for now and examine the inside, Detective. Yes, sir. Oh, what have we here? It's blood. This must be Mr. Cochin's blood, which only goes to prove that Mr. Cochin's body was indeed transported by this pushcart. I believe you understand what this means, correct? You killed Mr. Cochin at this theatre and then placed his body inside the pushcart. And then... you forced the Steel Samurai to unwittingly move the body for you.
Objection! I forced him to move the body into Alabast? What nonsense! Why would I bother to do such a thing?
Objection! You were scheduled to make a speech in Alabast, meaning it was difficult for you to make a stop in Babol. However, what if you moved the body to Alabast? Because it was your embassy, you could keep an eye on it and tamper with the evidence. And then you smuggled it out of Alabast.
No!
If I can show how you moved the body from Alabast to Babol, then I win.
But you can't! The security between the two countries is incredibly tight.
I'll be the one to judge whether I can or cannot prove it. And so I ask you to provide us with testimony regarding your movements after you return to Alabast. Miles, at first. Have you figured it out? Do you know how the body was moved? To be honest, I have nothing to support my hypothesis at this time. However, I don't believe I've made a mistake in my logic up to this point. Which means... there's no question that can't be answered, right? The Primitive statue was smuggled successfully through a brief flight through the air. So why shouldn't there be an answer as to how the body was moved? Which means that there must be a logic flaw somewhere I can exploit. Test my movements in Alabast.
After I returned to Alabast, I had my picture taken with the Steel Samurai shaking hands. Then just as I was about to start my speech, the Adagurasu appeared. I feared for the national treasure, so I raced back to my office.
Is that all?
Yes, that's all.
Objection! It looks like you left out a few things, such as the murder of the Masked II. Furthermore, you left out the part about meeting with me in your office.
Those trifling matters. I don't believe I need to speak of them or those things again. I do so hate to waste time.
What? You. Is not every life precious?
Do you really need me to answer that for you?
Objection! People like you cannot be allowed to wander freely through society.
Then you'd better try hard, because I doubt you'll find a single contradiction.
He's really full of himself, isn't he? Yes, he is. How could he be so confident at a time like this?
Come, don't be shy. Go ahead, ask whatever you'd like.
Rebuttal movements now past. Here we go.
After I returned to Alabasta, I had my picture taken with the Steel Samurai shaking hands.
Hold it! So why was it only with the Steel Samurai? I thought the Pink Princess was also around.
The Pink Princess was suffering from a bad hip at the time, and the doctors recommended that she rest.
Wow, so you do have a soft side after all.
The pain of a bad hip. I suppose none of you can really understand how it feels.
Oh, so you tend to strain your back as well, huh?
But isn't that just because you're normally all hunched over?
He did need to keep up that act no matter what, I suppose.
The point of this is not to discuss my back problems. For about 15 minutes after our handshake, I was in my office preparing for the speech. Then, just as I was about to start my speech, the Yatagrasu appeared.
Hold it! That Yatagrasu was just a trick that you had set up.
A most amusing joke. And how do you propose that I set it up?
If you really want to know, I can explain it in detail for you. You arranged the spotlights in the rose garden so that when you were to take the stage, the audience would see the Yatagrasu's shadow. His shadow.
Oh, that is an interesting tale. Sadly, it has nothing to do with me.
You! What's it going to take for you to fess up to anything? Very well then, let's move on to a different question. After the Yatagrasu appeared, what was the state of the rose garden?
Everyone took refuge inside the embassy. I even helped with the effort. And then once everyone was inside, well, I feared for the national treasure, so I raced back to my office.
Hold it! And what happened after you returned to office?
I don't want to keep on repeating this, however. Upon my return, I had that stroke of bad luck and bumped into Mask Man.
Objection! And I don't want to keep on repeating this either. But his name was the Masked Second.
Who cares what he was called? By the time he got to the Primodox statue that he was supposed to steal, it had already been swapped for the fake. Talk about an unlucky man. Being bludgeoned to death with a fake statue.
Oh, that's right. Miss Von Karma's really letting her whip fly now. I think the scary part is her sounds while she's doing it. She must be at the limit of her patience as well. But physical attacks are meaningless here. Only evidence will suffice. Oh, it's one of these, that's right. I can't find a single flaw in his argument. At this rate, I won't be able to prove that he is actually guilty of anything.
Are we finished here?
Miles is first. Can Can you not come up with how the body was moved to Babal? Sir. Mr. Edgeworth!
Even after proving so much, is he going to get away with it?
Is this the end? Hold it! It appears that we made it just in time. It appears it would be a great honor if you would allow us to be your allies in battle. Evil magistrate, it is time for you to pay. Ah! It's the Steel Samurai! No, you're mistaken, for I am Steel Samurai Daddy, married man of Neo Old Tokyo. And this is Pink Princess Mommy. Edgy Poo!
No!
The two people that I wanted to see the least. Larry, what are you two doing here? We just feel your gratitude, Edgy. We just wanted to help, yeesh. I'm gonna get the bad guy with a single thrust of my samurai spear. Objection! Go away! How can you be so mean to us? Edgy Poo! All three of us came to lend a hand, and this is how you treat us? There isn't this grand. And I see they managed to find the Iron Infant. Does that really matter right now? Hey, is it just me or is the Iron Infant completely soaked? Oh yeah, I found him in Babal, but he was in the middle of the pool. Wait a second. Larry, go back to what you just said. Huh? Oh, it appears we made it. Not that far back. Something about finding the Iron Infant in Babal. Babal? And he found it in a pool? I don't recall there being one in Babal. Oh, that! Well, I was in Alabasta the whole time, so I have no idea how the Iron Infant wound up in Babal. I thought I had lost him in the Rose Garden. But I guess maybe this cute kid can swim, huh? Wait, what? Larry, you lost the Iron Infant in the Rose Garden? Are you sure about that? 1 second. I'm back, sorry. My brother was getting frustrated with Super Mario Galaxy 2. Are you sure about that? Yeah, I'm sure, but I found him in... Hold it! That's enough, Larry. The Iron Infant that Larry lost managed to move between the two countries. Furthermore, the Iron Infant was found soaked in the middle of a pool. This is what I've been looking for. It's another smuggling route between the countries. The key to the route the Iron Infant took to travel from Alabaster to Babol is bilateral symmetry. Ah, that's right, this embassy was built with bilateral symmetry in mind. Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir. There is a location for you to examine post-haste. It is where I believe the route used to smuggle Mr. Cochin's body lies. Does something like that really exist, sir? An embassy built on bilateral symmetry, meaning that this is where we need to examine. Take that! Yes, sir. I'll be back before you know it.
It's too late. It doesn't matter what you do. It's all a waste of time.
Not so fast! You will stay here with us and wait. This is Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth is here, sir. There's a reservoir here, just like in the Rose Garden. Just as I suspected. Okay, I'm back, sorry. Talking about brother. Really great. What is it? The two sides of this embassy are mirror images of each other, which means that there is also a pool at the corresponding location on the Babalese side. Mr. Cochin's body was moved into Babol through the pool in Alabast.
Objection! Objection! Avoiding the topic with a vague answer like that is unbecoming of a prosecutor. If you don't mind, I'd like to see more physical proof if you have any.
The Iron Infant is positively soaked in water. Why do you think that is? It's because he was fished out of a pool, and not just any pool. It was the Babalese one. I think it's pretty obvious at this point that what must be true. The water reservoirs in the two courtyards are connected.
Objection! And where's your proof the two sides are connected?
Objection! The proof is right there before your eyes. The half-drowned Iron Infant.
This blasted doll!
Mr. Edgeworth, I'm back. Hey, don't tell me you guys figured everything out without me. We did, thanks to this hero of justice's son. Even if he is just a doll, he managed to help foil the villain. Not so fast! Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, look, I don't want to say this, but it's kinda unlikely that the body just happened to have passed on through to Babal. This guy's a doll and he's small, so I can believe it. It made it, but he has a point.
Yes, that's right. I'm glad someone here understands. Mr. Edgeworth, are you going to next propose that a dead body can swim through a pipe?
You see, Mr. Prosecutor, our chase after this man is far from over. Agent Lang. Why is he helping Mr. Alban out now? He's not. He's realized a flaw in my argument is helping to move the logic along. In which case, I should return the favor and find an answer. And another thing. Mr. Cochin's body was found in his office in Babal. So what happened to his body after it was transported to the open air stage? Mr. Alba had an accomplice in Babal, remember? You mean Sheena, right? With her there, you can see how it was possible to move the body up to the office.
Objection! Are you seriously claiming that she can swim through the connecting pipe with the body?
He's right. Miss Sheena would drown if she did that. It's hard to imagine that she swam through the connecting pipe.
It looks like your hypothesis about how the body was moved is still only half-baked. In the end, it's all just the befuddled musings of an accusatory man. Now then, I believe you should give up and allow me passage. Because from the start, there is no feasible method of transporting the body.
What? Mr. Prosecutor, recall Sheena's movements. What was happening in the embassy around the time Miss Sheena was in Babul? Oh, if only there was a way to get rid of the water in the pool. Get rid of the water? Ah, that's it.
No, I believe this time we really are done right.
Objection! Unfortunately for you, it's far from over, Miss Talbot.
You are a most persistent man. Are you saying that you've thought of a way to move the body through the water?
Move the body through the water? That is completely unrelated to how it was done.
Excuse me?
The reason I say that is because there wasn't any water there at the time. What do you mean there wasn't any water? Just what it sounds like. Tonight's events made it possible to drain the water, allowing the body to be moved. Take that!
What is the meaning of this?
What is that supposed to prove? Yes, what is this supposed to be, Detective Gumshoe? Huh? Me? I have no idea, sir.
Mr. Edgeworth, that question was directed at you.
It would appear that I presented the wrong piece of evidence.
It would seem that you didn't hear me just now, so let's try it again, shall we?
Alright, I'll prove it to you with the evidence. Tonight's events made it possible to drain the water, allowing the body to be moved. I don't know, one of the fires, but I thought it... I mean, technically they're both related, but it's a piece of evidence. Take that! Tonight the Argrasu set fire to a variety of locations in the Babalese embassy. In order to put the fires out, much of the reservoir's water was used. Of course, when the water was used, the reservoir's water level went down. If enough water was drained, the connecting pipe could be used to traverse the border.
Objection! So what? The water level went down? The reservoirs were connected? Does any of this matter? You can't prove any of this.
Pretending to be ignorant won't work with me. We both know what kind of situation we're in right now. Even in a game, there comes a critical, game-changing moment. A moment in which you hit a wall that you must overcome in order to beat the game.
I haven't lost yet.
I found the route used to smuggle the body, and that route will lead to your defeat. Not so fast! Even if all the water was used by the firefighting effort, you still can't really call that a smuggling route. I know that. I should have figured that you would notice. Hey, Mr. Alba, how deep are those pools anyway?
I'll have you know those pools are extremely deep. And there are no ladders or footholds along the walls either.
It would be difficult for Sheena to hold the body and climb out of the pool. Ladders or footholds along the walls? There was no need for such things.
What do you mean?
If one were to use a certain something, they could go up or down the pool at will. Oh, it looks like you've got an answer already. Well, what are you waiting for, Mr. Prosecutor? Enlighten us already. The way in which Miss Sheena and the body were able to rise up to ground level. If there was a way to control the water level, that could be the way the body was moved. This was used so that the body and Miss Sheena could move up and down in the pool. Take that! Mr. Alba used the fountain sprouts in a manner of speaking. He used the fountain sprouts? How so? The water level in the pools can be controlled by opening and closing the sprouts. Miss Sheena and the body were lifted upward by their buoyancy in water. The fire on the Barbalese side and the firefighting effort. These were set in motion all for the sake of smuggling Mr. Coton's body. Shall I show you where the final destination of my train of logic leads? First, Mr. Alba closed the fountain sprouts in advance, in preparation of things to come. Then he took the pushcart that was brought to the rose garden, and pushed it along with the iron infant and Mr. Coton's body into the pool. At this time, Miss Sheena was busy conveniently starting the first fire in the pool. And she made for the open-air stage's pool to wait for the firefighting effort to begin. When the firefighters used the water in that pool, the water level went down. And by the time the fire was put out, the pipe between the two pools was exposed. This is when she pushed the pushcart from Alabasta into the wall. Once that was accomplished, Mr. Alba simply opened the fountain sprouts once more. And the water level rose up to its original level along with Miss Sheena on the body. After that, Miss Sheena used the pushcart to carry the body up to the Secretariat's office. There was an elevator in the embassy after all, so you see, even with her small frame, she could have easily transported Mr. Coton's body. And that wraps up my thorough explanation of how the body was moved.
Go!
Well, ex-Ambassador Alba, what do you think? Not so untouchable without your previous precious extraterritorial rights to protect you, are you? I knew you could do it, Mr. Edgeworth. Way to fight back.
Objection! You accuse me of moving the body across country lines, but when you get down to the nitty-gritty, you don't have what it takes to indict me.
The nitty-gritty? What does the old man want now? Proof, I believe, is what he seeks.
Yes, proof. Without any, who is to say that whether or not any of what you said really happened?
He wants proof? What are we going to do, Mr. Edgeworth? There's no need to worry. I've had all the proof we need all along. The body wasn't the only thing to go through the pool's disconnecting pipe tonight. Just as Detective Gumshoe found the pushcart in the open-air stage area, so too did I find one other item there. And that piece of evidence is what will prove that the pool was the smuggling route. This was another thing that was smuggled over to Babol's open-air stage area. Oh yes, the guitar pick, and it was wet too. Take that! Take that!
And what exactly is this?
You have no idea, do you? This little piece that I found on the Barbalese side will be your undoing.
A guitar pick? Would you care to explain how that is going to do me in, as it were?
Much to your chagrin, perhaps, but this is not a guitar pick. Chagrin? Let's see. Oh, chagrin. Chagrin. Oh god, okay. Chagrin. Much to your chagrin, perhaps, but this is not a guitar pick.
What?
This is something I found on the open-air stage, which was transported with the body. I naturally assumed that you would recognize it since you took a photo with it after all. But since you don't allow me to fill you in on what I found at the stage actually belongs to you. Take that! Let us take a good look at the murder weapon that was used to kill Manny Cochin. On the handle of this knife there is a beautifully blooming flower. However, it would appear that it's missing a single petal. Now, let's see what happens when we try to fit this pick in that open slot. It's a perfect fit! I assume that the petal must have fallen out off of the flower during Mr. Cochin's murder. And then it was accidentally placed into the pushcart along with Mr. Cochin's body.
Objection! That's an interesting story, nothing more.
Objection? Oh, I assure you it's more than just a story. Because for some odd reason this flower petal was wet when I found it.
It was wet, you say?
Yes, and the only place it could have gotten wet was from the open air stage's pool. Now I ask you, how did a part of the weapon which was smuggled into the theatre wind up in the open air stage area on the Babalese side of the embassy? I don't think I need to waste any words explaining this, as this petal explains it all for me. It proves that someone went from the Rose Garden's pool on through into Babul.
Impossible!
The people of Jungfa have been waiting to see you, face to face, Mr. Alba. I'll tell everyone back home we'll be there soon. You should be happy.
Why?
Why? It's a little late to be asking that question. You should have known from the very beginning, when you took your first life. No matter how you may plot or how you may try to cover it all up, you can never hide from your crime and what you've done. Because we're here to see to it that justice is served to people like you.
Objection! You can't call what you've given a perfect argument.
You know, I don't think this guy is going to ever admit to his wrongdoings, Mr. Edgeworth, because he values himself above all else. People who can't be negotiated with, or people who refuse to admit that when they've lost, I don't believe those kinds of people really exist, because everyone breaks eventually. You're right. In that case, I have no choice but to use all of the evidence I have. I'll use it all until he breaks under the weight of his crimes. Mr. Alba, I request that you testify once more. This really will be the end of the line. To be continued. Save? Yes, save. March 15th, 3:33 a.m. Theatre Chalice, lobby. Mr. Alba, I request that you testify once more.
As if there's anything else for me to testify about.
I still have yet to fully prove that it was Mr. Alba who murdered Mr. Cochin. Well, I would like to hear about your movements before the murder occurred. I wonder if you could tell us about what you did here at the Theatre Chalice.
Very well, I suppose I could tell you about that. Because about all I did was watch the Steel Samurai stage show.
Elaborate upon even that alone is good enough for me. The only way for me to place this man under arrest is to pinpoint the exact location of where the murder took place, for that is the key to this investigation. Testimony of the Steel Samurai show.
I watched from the last row. The stage was well lit, but it was dark out in the audience. I swear I was there in the audience, but it's hard to prove that, I suppose. I do remember the contents of the show very well, though. Is that proof enough for you? Those moving scenes were seared into this old man's heart. I'll never forget them.
So you were in the theatre proper watching the Steel Samurai stage show, were you?
Of course I was. I have a great fondness for the Steel Samurai.
Yeah, I was pretty cool up there, wasn't I? You're not the one who was cool. The Steel Samurai. It's the Steel Samurai who is cool. Yeah, and the Steel Samurai special finishing move today was really something, huh? Hmm? Hey, Edgy! Who is she? Who is this super cute girl? She's been standing here this whole time and only now he notices her? Her name is Kay Faraday, and she's helping me in the investigation. In my investigation. Sorry I didn't get to introduce myself earlier, but better late than never. Yeah, so Kay, I'm Larry Buds. Silence in the peanut gallery. There's no time for such trivialities at a time like this. Mr. Prosecutor, this is the final battle. You got that? I know. This is the end. For that man there. Now that's the kind of thing I like to hear. I think I'll give trusting you a try, Mr. Prosecutor. Or rather, Mr. Edgeworth. I leave this critical battle up to you, Mr. Edgeworth. Have no fear. I will finish the job. This really is the end game. The time has come to expose every last one of Mr. Alba's lies. Rebuttal the Steel Samurai show. Save state real quick. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a 14-minute break until 7. Or for Getaway, it would be like 4 a.m. something like that. But I'll be right back. By the way, just saying, I'm just resting my voice for a little bit because Alba's voice really wears it out, so I'll just be right back. Be right back, but you get what I mean. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Getaway in Portland, are you still here? Okay. Just checking, Portland, sorry.
Those moving scenes were seared into this old man's heart. I'll never forget them.
Hold it! I agree today will be a day to remember. Especially when we finally make you pay for all the wrongs you've committed.
What?
Hey, that's what the Steel Samurai says when he defeats the evil magistrate. Actually, that line was just something I ad-libbed. You may act all surprised, but naturally you remember this line, don't you?
Of course I do. I just now understand how the evil magistrate felt, that's all.
Then allow me to make you identify with the evil magistrate some more. Hey, then that makes you the Steel Samurai, huh? Well, if you had to complete the analogy, I suppose, then yes. And I do believe it's about time to bring the curtains down on this with a bang. I wonder if Mr. Albo is really there watching the show. I don't think so, because the only time he had to commit the murder was during the show, and the only time he could have placed the body into the pushcart was during the scenes when the Iron Infant was not on stage. Then that... was not out on stage. Then that means that by the end of the stage show... Are you saying that the body was already in the pushcart by then? No way! You mean I was pushing a dead body around? That you used me in such a foul manner is unforgivable, evil magistrate. Well put, Steel Samurai. And now I will show to all those present just who is the evil magistrate that the Steel Samurai must defeat.
I do remember the contents of the show very well, though. Is that proof enough for you?
Hold it! Well, I remember the contents of the show as well myself.
That's nice.
That's nice. Miles at first. Don't allow yourself to be riled up by him at this important juncture. I wasn't planning to let him. Well, if you ask me, I think I'm the biggest Steel Samurai expert around here. And didn't you think this climactic scene of today's show was just totally awesome?
Yes, I remember that well, and that spectacular special move. The way you delivered the final blow against the evil magistrate, early summer rain jab. Oh, that scene will live on in my heart forever.
Is that how it went? I totally forgot about that. How can you forget your own special moves? That's the special attack that the Steel Samurai uses when he's using the Samurai Spear.
Yes, and today was the first time they showed it off, was it not? If I hadn't watched the show, then how could I answer you with the name of the move?
I suppose you are correct, but if you could, please elaborate on this point for me.
What if these scenes was of his never-before-seen early summer rain jab move?
No, it wasn't. Because the spear is broken. Objection! The special move today was the earlier summer rain jab. Is that your final answer?
Objection! You little irritating gnat! Do you really think you can trip me up by asking the same question over and over?
That was not my intention. Your testimony is more than sufficient. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I was talking to my little brother. Okay. However, I believe it would be wise for you to take a look at this.
The samurai spear, what about it?
This spear actually never made it on stage today.
Excuse me?
Unfortunately for you, tonight's Steel Samurai happened to be a goof of a young man with an abundance of useless hot-bloodedness. Having said that, said useless man bent the spear during his rehearsal this evening. Kay, do you remember what the Steel Samurai's special move was tonight? It was the Steel Samurai Sushi Slash. Correct, because he couldn't use the spear, a last-minute change was made. Had you really been watching the show, you would have known that the move that was used. Quercus Alba, you didn't watch even a single minute of the Steel Samurai stage show tonight, did you? Aha! So if he wasn't watching this show tonight... Then it opens up the possibility that he was busy killing Mr. Curtin instead. So where were you during this show? I demand an answer now. Just what is so funny?
You're so sloppy, and so are your conclusions. I still insist that I watch the show, or most of it in any case.
What do you mean by most of it?
You see, during the show I left my seat for a spell to visit the bathroom. I assume that was when the dramatic scene was played out on stage.
That is the lousiest, lamest excuse I've ever heard in my life, pal. Ugh, just because he got the name of the move wrong. We can't really use that as proof that he didn't watch the show at all.
As a fan of the Steel Samurai, I'd wanted to watch the entire show, honest.
Objection! As a Steel Samurai fan, for someone who wasn't even in his seat for the climax of this show, you have no right to call yourself a Steel Samurai fan, ever. Hold it! Who was that just now? It would be I, young lady. Larry, what are you doing interrupting me like that? Edgy, just hold on for a second, I beg. You may never accept this old man as a Steel Samurai fan, but I totally think he's a Steel Samurai... Maniac. What exactly is a Samaniac or Steel Samaniac, pal? I believe he meant to say Steel Samurai Maniac. Yeah, and trust me, I know a real fan when I see one because I'm the Steel Samurai. Objection! I will never acknowledge you as the true Steel Samurai. What are you getting worked up over, Mr. Edgeworth?
It appears that the real Steel Samurai recognizes me as a fan. As well he should, for I'm a fan. It's not as though I missed the entire show. It was a most amazing show, filled with the spirit of the young and the young at heart.
The sarcasm dripping from his long wooden nose couldn't run any thicker. Getting the name of the move wrong only proves that he didn't watch the last scene. What I really need here is something more definitive. Something that links Mr. Alba directly to the murder of Mr. Manny Cochin. You know what, Gramps? You're really something else.
I'm honored to receive such praise from the Steel Samurai, but what is it for?
Well, I was just wondering how you found out about the summer rain jab. That move is a bit of a secret that only a small portion of the staff know about. Wait, it was a secret. Larry, wait, what did you just say? Huh? Did I say something stupid again? Did you say that the early summer rain jab was actually a secret? Well, maybe I shouldn't have said secret. It's more like we only decided on the name of the move right before they started the show. Right before? Yeah, the stage director was going nuts because we were supposed to debut the move. About 5 minutes before the show, he threw it up on the dressing room's whiteboard. Early summer rain jab, that's kinda how we decided the name of the move. But by that time, I'd already bent the spear, so I guess the whole thing was kinda pointless. All of you Steel Samurai actors are the same. The director has my complete sympathy. So basically, because we changed the move to the sushi slash, we kind of pretended that the early summer rain jab didn't exist at all. I mean, it'd be bad if someone found out we'd changed the move, so we made it a secret. So basically, a gag order was issued for publicity's sake. It almost makes the early summer rain jab sound like a lost art. Yeah, which is why I think most of the staff haven't even heard of the move.
Objection! Hold those lips of yours still.
What the heck, old man?
I've done nothing but listen. From what I can tell, it's all very unrelated to the case. It's also very tedious and a pointless exercise in wasting time, much like a kid's show.
Objection! Mr. Alba, I believe the one who should be quiet now is you.
How dare you!
I suspect that you've already noticed exactly what the very severe implications are in this man's testimony.
Ha! So now you're trying to bully me, huh? There are no implications to be read into a behind-the-scenes story of a kid's show.
Not so fast! Don't even think about trying to slither your way out of this, Quirkus Alba. You were the one who said it yourself. The name of the move was Early Summer Rain Jab, but that name was only decided upon right before the show was about to start. To start.
So, just what are you driving at?
That the name of the move you told us was never used in the show or said aloud. Back again, sorry, I was talking a little really great. That the name of the move you told us was never used in the show or said aloud. Now then, would you care to tell us about how you found out the name of that move? Because I can only think of one way you could have known. Quirkus Alba, this is the only way you could have known the name of the special move. You saw it. You knew the name because you saw it. You saw it on the dressing room's whiteboard. The staff members who knew were keeping it a secret, so you couldn't have simply gone up to a staff member and asked. Which means that the only other option left is that you saw it on the whiteboard. So that means that Mr. Alba was in the waiting room at some point, right? What's the big deal, sir? I don't see what that means. There's another piece of evidence that has a great deal to do with the dressing room, so we can't afford to let this slide. This is related to both the dressing room and to Mr. Cochin's murder. Take that! The pushcart that was used to move the body was right there in the dressing room. During the show, the pushcart awaited its turn to be pushed on stage in the dressing room. and it was finally pushed there along with the Iron Infant in the last scene of the show. And then right after the show ended, it went into Alabaster along with the Steel Samurai. Which means that the only time that the killer could have placed the body inside the pushcart was when the pushcart was in the dressing room backstage. So basically, the killer has to be someone who visited the dressing room during the show. Precisely. Oh wait. But wait. What if? And this is just say what if? What if the murder didn't take place in the dressing room? What do you mean, Kay? I have to admit, she brings up a valid possibility. During the show, the dressing room was supposed to be devoid of people. Anyone going to the private dressing room would stand out like a sore thumb. But despite that, the killer still managed to move the body with the pushcart. Correct, and it is because of the setup of the theater's dressing room that it would be the ideal location for the murder of Manny Cochin. Quercus Alba, during the show you went down to the dressing room, and I want to know why.
Yes. Yes, I was there. I went into the dressing room.
I knew it. I'm placing you under arrest right now, pal. You got that? Arrest.
Objection! Not so fast.
What is it now? What is it now?
Don't I deserve a chance to explain myself?
Explain? What is there to explain?
I believe I told you earlier that I went to the bathroom. Well, I got lost when I did. I wanted to ask for directors, but when I opened the dressing room door, no one was inside. And that's when I saw the name of the move on the whiteboard.
You punk! Still trying to get out of this? Do you really think you can get away at this point? Mr. Edgeworth, isn't there anything you can do to stop him? I don't have enough evidence on hand to do anything. I don't have the airtight evidence I need to put this man away for good. But if that's what I need, then perhaps... Agent Lang, I believe an investigation of the dressing room in question is in order. It's quite possible that we may find new evidence there. Yeah, if Mr. Edgeworth pokes around in there, I'm sure he'll find some new facts, pal. Oh, and if we use Little Thief, then we may even learn something from a recreation.
Not so fast!
We don't need to do any of that. What? Wolfie, how could you? I'm not saying this to be mean. It's just that we've already searched there. My men really are something else. And they found nothing? There's only one thing I can say to you, sis, and it's that they found nothing. That's it. I guess you're right. If they had found something, they would have reported it to us.
They couldn't find anything because there was nothing there to find.
And if there is no info to feed into Little Thief, then I couldn't do much to help either. Is this the end? The murder took place in this theater, which is not protected under extraterritorial rights. And the fact that it was Mr. Alba himself who committed the murder. If I can't prove both statements to be true, Mr. Alba walks away a free man. Walks away a free man. Is there no other course of action left to us?
It would appear that your hand of cards has turned out to be a bust. Now, if you will excuse me, because of you people I missed my flight. Now I must make haste to arrange for a new one.
Hold it! Who is it this time? Hold it right there, you whippersnappers! First Larry, now you! What is with that scary, monster-like scowl on your face, Edgy Poo? Don't treat me like I'm some sort of nuisance. I've been meaning to say this, but all you... I've been meaning to say this, but all of you keep talking about things I don't get at all. At all. You're leaving this lady in this sad, depressing, lonely dust that I'm about to cry in. Why did you have to speak up right at this instant? But you know what, Edgy Poo? Cheer up, because I'm about to give you the most wonderful thing. The most wonderful thing? From you... It's so super special that I couldn't give it away to just anyone you know. Ah, my special present of love to my sweet Edgy Poo. Edgy Poo! Are you ready? Is this... It's a box of those samurai dogs, right? Yes! Oh, Edgy Poo! Here, you go on and eat one and you'll feel it as right as rain.
Are we through here?
Why did everyone get so quiet all of a sudden? Edgy Poo! Tell me you understand the depths of this lady's love for you. I'm not one to hand out snacks willy-nilly, you know. No, sir. The thought occurred to me that maybe it would be good if I fed you. You were nice and full. One day it made food. I mean, isn't it the desire goes hungry, and that's what I want. Time ago they used to say that ingredient you threw in front of me. Mr. Edgeworth, can't you do anything about her? There's no power on earth that can force that woman into silence. Yeah, Angars! But I'm so sick and tired of it. All you people do is look down on me. Even this box of samurai dogs played me for a fool. It had a special design on its fan, like the Japanese flag, so I thought it was special. But when I ate one, it tasted just like the rest. Oh, it made me so mad. Wait, a special box with a Hinamaru-like fan on it? I've never heard of such a piece of merchandise existing before. However, there it is. The red rising sun on this fan is filled in. Is it possible? Could it be? After the show, these samurai dogs were piled up on the dressing room floor. However, there is no such thing as a rising sun dog. Rising sun dogs. Taken from the dressing room, the fan's rising sun is filled in for some reason. This contradiction of facts between something that should not exist and yet does. The rays from the rising sun may be just what we needed to point out us in the right direction. A present? The studio bigwigs basically told us to play delivery boys. We were supposed to hand the dogs off to the embassy people and tell them hi. I had to pile them all into the pushcart just to move them all. Samurai dogs. Boxes of samurai dogs were sitting in the pushcart. I believe you understand what this means, correct? You killed Mr. Cochin at this theatre and then placed his body inside the pushcart. Body in the pushcart. The killer placed Cochin's body into the pushcart in the dressing room. And then, you forced the steel samurai to unwittingly move the body for you. It's time to piece the final pieces of this logic puzzle together. No matter how fragile or small the connections may be, once we've found them all, the way to the truth will be revealed. Let's see. Well, this means that he had to have removed the samurai dogs before putting the body in. The killer used the pushcart to transport the body, which means that they had to remove the samurai dogs from within first. Therefore, the samurai dogs that were piled up on the dressing room floor were most likely taken out of the pushcart by the killer. Samurai dogs were removed. Dogs were put on dressing room floor by the killer to make room for the body. And if that's the case, maybe there's a whole new meaning to that red rising sun on the samurai dogs package. That which should not exist, this box of samurai dogs with a Hinomaru on it. If this red rising sun was filled in when the killer was busy removing dogs from the pushcart, then it's proof that the murder took place in the dressing room, as long as this red substance turns out to be what I believe it to be. Wendy Oldbag. I thank you. What you have given to me is truly something very special. Edgeworth! Mr. Edgeworth, are you sure you're feeling okay, sir? Mr. Alba, as I suspected, you killed Mr. Cochin in the dressing room.
How many times was I listening to you repeat yourself? Haven't you figured it out yet? Your words are meaningless, worthless, and powerless. The only way I'm going to cooperate is with some definitive evidence.
That arrogance, that self-confidence, you believe that you've erased every piece of evidence that could incriminate you. However, there remains one piece here, and it is what will put you away for good.
Ha! You're bluffing.
Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, sounds like you finally found them. You finally found the fangs we need to go after this guy's jugular. So tell us, what about that box of samurai dogs is going to put the old man away? The trace evidence, that will bring him down? Why, it's here, of course. This box of samurai dogs with a rising sun fan on it. This should never have existed. So I want you all to take a good look at this red spot. It's a single drop of blood. Huh?
What? Blood, you say?
Agent Lang, I'd like this blood analyzed post-haste.
I've got to admit, I'm a bit surprised. I can't believe we found blood in a place like this. Hey, you, get this down to the lab pronto.
Why was there blood on that box to begin with? If we think about the flow of the crime, I think the reason will become obvious. Larry, you said that you transported these samurai dogs with the pushcart, correct? Oh, yeah. You have a great memory, Edgy. That pushcart was a bit too big for my son, you know what I mean? So to make sure everyone could see him, I had to pile some stuff in. I figured the samurai dogs were there, so I used them to fill up the cart. If what Larry says is true, then what were the boxes doing on the floor?
I see. The killer took them out in order to place the body in the pushcart.
Exactly. And that is when I believe the victim's blood found its way onto that box.
But when my men investigated that room, not a single box of samurai dogs was in there. Because embassy staff members had already confiscated them.
Yes, no doubt to hide the evidence of the murder. It's a good thing Miss Oldbag managed to steal that one box before they got to them, huh? Looks like Miss Oldbag also managed to put this great thief to shame. What a scandalous way of putting that. I didn't steal, I received it from myself.
Quercus Alba,
I'd say this was one very fatal oversight on your part.
Objection! Sorry to rain on your little love fest, however.
How? How can he be so self-confident in a no-win situation for him like this?
Even if that blood turns out to belong to Mr. Cochin, then what?
So, Mr. Edgeworth, it sounds like he's not ready to call it quits yet, huh? The sole piece of evidence that was left at the scene of the crime. That alone has shed light on a new fact. At the very least, we now have proof that the murder occurred in the dressing room.
And you say that like it means something.
Huh? Huh?
Excuse me, sirs. Report. What are the results of the analysis?
Sir, the analysis came back and confirmed that the red substance is blood.
I knew it, with this Quercus Alba. Objection! Mr. Edgeworth, I wonder if you might humor my question.
Your question?
The one from before, have you forgotten? Even if that is Mr. Cochin's blood, what difference would it make?
Not so fast!
Like we already told you, it proves that the crime scene was that dressing room. Objection! But it doesn't prove that I'm your killer, does it?
That's... He has a very good point. The blood on that box doesn't prove that Mr. Alba is the killer. Then... this evidence, it's meaningless. It's meaningless? That can't be. We were so close, sir. I want to smack that smug look off his face. Come on, there's got to be something we can do. We finally found a solid piece of evidence. There must be something I can expose with it. think of a single thing.
Now if you look... Now if you'll excuse me, I'll be on my way.
Hold it! Hold it! Who was that? Who was that? It's too late. Oh. Oh, whoops.
Who was that? It's too late! I won't allow anyone to stop me now.
It wasn't me, pal. And it wasn't me this time either. It wasn't me either. It was me! Why did you... because I haven't finished reporting everything to you yet, sir. There's more? What? Hurry up and spit it out. Yes, sir. That blood I mentioned. It's not of the same blood type as the victim's blood. What? No! What? What do you mean it's not the same type? You mean it's not the victim's blood? If it isn't his, then who the hell's is it? I don't know, sir. All I know is that it's not the same blood type as the victim's, sir. What should we do now, Mr. Edgeworth? I have no idea what's what anymore. Neither do I.
My, what an amusing turn of events. That blood drop proved something to be true, alright. Namely, my words.
And which one of your words would that be?
The ones where I said that your words are meaningless, worthless, and powerless! That blood has nothing to do with the murder investigation whatsoever. Need I remind you that the blood got onto that box long before it entered my embassy?
What sort of nonsense? Yeah, it's blood, pal. There's no way it's not related to the murder.
So you would like to believe. But what if someone preparing the samurai dogs had a small nosebleed? What then?
I guess that's possible. Damn it! Have we been wasting our time on a red herring?
The blood doesn't belong to anyone connected to the case. That should be clue enough.
Quercus Alba, you bastard!
Silence! Don't you ever address me with such a filthy word again. I've wasted enough time here with you, and you have your answers. Now let me through.
Not so fast! Alba, it doesn't matter where you run off to, you'll never escape me. Someday I'll have the satisfaction of sinking my fangs into you, you'll see. And all of Interpol will be behind me, working to see to it that day comes.
Do you know what your words sound like to me? They sound like the whinings of a pathetic loser of a mutt.
Ahoo! Is this really the extent of all that we can do? Is this the blood? Is the blood really from someone completely unrelated to the case? Or is there another possibility? Someone else other than the victim? Just when I thought I had him backed into a corner, it is I who has been backed into one. In a situation like this, what would that man do? What would he who can turn any desperate situation around do? Turn it around? That's it. I must turn my way of thinking around. It's not whose blood is this. It's whose blood could get onto the box like this. And if I think about it that way, if the blood got onto the box when the body was being placed in the pushcart, then the owner of said blood must have been in the dressing room at the time. And there is only one person that could be.
Well, I must praise you for trying so hard. It's because of you kids that I was removed from center stage, and will be forced to live out the rest of my life in the shadows, unfortunately. But it's not a total loss, as the underworld will allow me more freedom than you'll ever know. Freedom like what the raven feels as it flies through the dark night sky. You can't lay a finger on me, not now or ever. The arm of the law is powerless before me.
Objection! Powerless, is it? I wouldn't be so sure about that if I were you.
What do you mean?
Allow me to describe you in one word. Pitiful.
Pitiful? How so?
Quercus alba, your wings were clipped long ago. And for someone who's trying to fly away on them without noticing that fact, pitiful is the perfect word to describe you.
Ha! Mere words.
What do you mean by his wings are clipped, Mr. Edgeworth? Just what you think it means, Kay. We had already caught him in our trap a while back, with an incredibly powerful definitive piece of evidence. Hey, Earth, Mr. Prosecutor. Care to speak in English? What are you talking about? What piece of evidence? The piece I speak of is, of course, this drop of blood. But we know that it's not from the victim. I don't see how it remains relevant to the case at all. Miss Von Karma, I believe that is exactly why it's very important in this case. And the part that is the most important is the fact that it's not the victim's blood. You're looking a little pale. Good, that I believe you are already aware of what I mean. Then you know who the blood belongs to? Of course I do. This piece of evidence is the irrefutable proof that will stop the killer in his tracks. The blood that soiled this box of samurai dogs belongs to this person. Take that! The blood of the rising sun on this box belongs to you, Quercus alba. What? Why is his blood on the box of samurai dogs? He's not even a victim. The blood fell onto the box when Mr. Coach's body was being loaded into the pushcart. At that time, the only two people in the dressing room were the victim and his killer. So that's what you mean. If the blood doesn't belong to the victim, then there is only one person a person could belong to. Yes, and that person is the murderer himself. That's the only logical conclusion. Mr. Cochin was the one who was stabbed, sir. Why would Mr. Alba have been the one who was bleeding? What if during the murder Mr. Cochin had fought back? You mean if before Mr. Alba could kill him, Mr. Cochin managed to wound Mr. Alba? Yes, and I believe we have a piece of evidence that proves that he was bleeding then. What is the piece of evidence that shows that Mr. Alba was probably bleeding at the time? Take that! Mr. Alba, you bear on your body a great wound.
That was from when Demaster II attacked me with a pair of scissors.
Yeah, and that happened way after he was in the dressing room. But is that what really happened? You can manufacture a weapon by smearing blood on it, so I can't just accept that as fact. Shall we try a blood test, Mr. Alba, and see if the shape of your wound matches the scissors?
Objection! You really are something else, Mr. Edgeworth. You don't let a single thing slip you by, no matter how insignificant the possibility.
You're one to talk, Mr. Alba. You've managed to give the law the slip for 10 years as the smuggling ring's leader. No matter the danger, you can hide every last ounce of fear and anxiety from everyone. You truly are a one-of-a-kind criminal.
Objection! I am the master of my fear. However, to think that a person such as you could miss such a large thing.
You believe I've overlooked something?
You said that my wound was caused by Mr. Cochin, and that it was caused here in one of the theater's dressing rooms, right?
Yes, that is correct.
I'd like to point out that it's simply not possible. My wound is a stab wound and one that could only have come from a blade. I wonder where you all propose that such a weapon came from.
This theater was packed with security guards. It would have been impossible for anyone to have come into this area with a weapon of any sort.
Not so fast!
Just as Mr. Alba was able to bring in the Alabastian knife in a bouquet, there must have been some other way to sneak in a weapon of some sort.
But as long as you can't prove what that other way is. All your talk about Mr. Cochin stabbing me is nonsense, is pure nonsense. So if that other way does exist, you'd better hurry and tell me now.
With pleasure.
Wait, what?
This piece of evidence shows you how Mr. Cochin brought a weapon into this theater. And take that! Among law enforcement, this piece is known as the Yadagrasu's key.
That key?
That's the key that my father stole from here 7 years ago. And it is very unique in that it is both a key and a knife. Meaning that under the guise of a key it could have been easily brought into the theater. And you couldn't dispose of the knife that stabbed you. Therefore, you wiped off the blood and placed it back in Mr. Cochin's pocket. After all, the key itself opens the safe in his office. And inside that safe there was a document about Cadopian paper signed by Mr. Cochin. In order to make it look like Mr. Cochin died as the real leader of the smuggling ring, you had to make it so that the police were the ones who opened that safe, that office safe. All that hard work to save yourself only served to destroy you in the end. Shall we try matching this nice blade with your wound, Mr. Quercus Alba? And that is what some may call the coup de grace.
Impossible. You can't take me down. Swine! All of you! Especially Manny Cochin. This is all because of that man's betrayal. He sought to steal control of the smuggling ring from me by removing me as ambassador. Which is why he deserved to die while bearing the guilt for all of my crimes for me. That's why I sent out the Alagrasu's card and how this incident was born. Manny was supposed to be the smuggling ring's leader who was killed by the Alagrasu. But I had yet another reason. Yet another story that was supposed to play out. Manny's death was supposed to bring everything to a close. And I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling prosecutors.
Mr. Alba, I'm afraid there is one more question I forgot to ask. This country's or Alabast's? Which country's court would you like to face first? Either way, it's game over for you. March 17th, 11:21 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Whew, this is it, the big day. It's Mr. Alba's trial today. And next week he's scheduled to stand trial in his own country of Alabast. Franziska's heading that one. I suspect she'll be serving a full course of whiplashes at it. Having to face Miss Von Karma in court right after facing you, sir. I don't even want think of what that would be like. I caught a glimpse of Mr. Alba as he was being escorted to the courthouse, and boy, he looked about as glum as I did the day before I get my monthly paycheck. You know, I've been thinking. That flight attendant and even Mr. Portsman were all Mr. Alba's secret agents. Correct. That smuggling ring was the common thread between all of the incidents. Cammy Meal was to provide support during smuggling operations, using her job as an attendant. And Mr. Portsman was to manipulate trials related to the ring to end in their favor. I-Fly Airlines and even the prosecutor's office, no one was safe from the smuggling ring, huh, sir? I suspect there are even more members of this ring spread throughout the world. Yeah, it sounds like such a big operation that I can't even begin to imagine what it's like. What is it, Detective? Nothing, it's just, well, come to think of it, Mr. Ernest Amano's trial is also scheduled for later today, sir. I'm aware of that. Mr. Amano has been working with the smuggling ring now for over 10 years. He used the Amano Group's various connections worldwide to assist the ring. But all of that has come to an end as his conglomerate is now under harsh scrutiny. I owe Mr. Amano a debt of gratitude, but he must pay his debt to society. Well, with the arrest of both Mr. Alba and Mr. Amano, I guess that about wraps up the KG incident as well, huh? I suppose so. The real killer in the KG incident 10 years ago was Manny Cochin. And 7 years ago, the killer in the second KG incident was Mac Rell. Those two facts are the unshakable truth. However, it seems that a lot of effort was put into hiding these and other truths from us. And I will expose it all at the trials today. You're solving cases left and right today, aren't you, sir? Aren't you, sir? CCU indeed, man. Perhaps now these two brave souls who tried to make the truth known can rest in peace. By the way, I received some gifts from Ambassador Polino. Shrimp, crab, beef, I don't need any of these, so I'm giving them to you. I don't need any of these, so I'm giving them to you. Giving? What? Seriously, sir? Seriously? Wait, actually, I don't think I want them anymore. The way you're holding them... Don't tell me they're just coupons, sir. Detective Gumshoe, have you not read the paper recently? Ever since the two countries became Cadopia again, as the economy has changed. Really? And it seems that Ambassador Polino has reaped a few benefits of his own from it. He has been announced as the official ambassador of the newly reunified Cadopia. But what a pity. But what a pity. Even though every item he sent is a treasure, you don't seem all that interested. Well, if you don't want them, I can give them to my lovely assistant, Kay. Wait, that's not what I said. Mr. Edgeworth, please let me have them, sir. Actually, come to think of it, where is Kay? How come she's still not here? Hey, you've got to be more alert than that. I can't believe you didn't notice. I was even mimicking Mr. Edgeworth's voice for a bit. I totally didn't notice you or realize that was you, sir. That was you. Long Tzu says ferocious love blooms with each new spring. Agent Lang, a pleasant surprise to see you here. It's been a long time since I set foot in a courthouse, but I wasn't going to miss. Watching the guy who screwed up my country finally get what's coming to him. Well, that and something else. I want to see you in action in court. Is that so, Agent Lang? We've flushed out all of the counterfeit bills, so Jung Fa is finally at peace again. And it's all thanks to you, so I just want to say thanks. Wow, I never thought I'd see the day old Wolfie says thanks to Mr. Edgeworth. I should be the one thanking you, Agent Lang. If you hadn't negated Mr. Alba's extraterritorial rights, I would not have been able to bring him to trial. I believe the victory belongs to the both of us in this case. A shared victory, huh? Look, don't get me wrong. I'll still never forgive you prosecutors, and I have zero interest in that truth thing you talk about in court. I've always done things my own way, and that's not about to change, you got that? I see. Well, I believe you should follow your own creed when you do your job. Yeah, and if there's ever someone your precious truth can't catch, feel free to sit around and cry about it all you want. But as for me, I'm going to get that person no matter what. Alright. It's about time for the trial to start. I will see you later. I'll be watching your performance in the gallery. I'm looking forward to this. I prepared a whole ton of ticker tape for today's victory, sir. I'll help throw some around when Mr. Edgeworth wins. Hope you've got enough because I'm going to call up my men up as well. A modest amount of ticker tape goes a long way. The scene shifts to the courtroom and the final act of this long tale begins. The legend of the great thief Yaragarasu. It's the story of those who chose to dedicate their lives to. Prosecutors are those who seek a guilty verdict for the defense they meet, and to that end you have no choice but to win by any means necessary. That creed forced me when I was very young to the pursuit of the truth, and that is because... And to that end you have no choice but to win by any means necessary. That was forced on me when I was very young. But I don't think that's all prosecutors are. And I feel as though it's been a long time, and today, more than any other day, I feel the fight within me rising. OBJECTION! Even though I've only been away from the courtroom for a short time, I feel as though it's been a lifetime since I've set foot in. Sorry, I can't keep up with it sometimes. I should have just paused like I do sometimes. I'm really in Mr. Edgeworth's debt for the other day. Thanks to him, I'm still free to serve in the friendly blue skies. Oh, so about my suitcases. I've been selling them on the internet, and they've become a real sensation, thanks to the praise the art world has lavished on my work as being truly postmodern. The airline has chosen me to design their new line of iFlight jumbo jets. Just think, someday you will be able to take a ride in my pink-walled, yellow-seated jet. Postmodern. It's funny.
Edgeworth? Ah, that rudeness of a man. Because of him, my time and money is wasted. But more importantly, dear, I received a most fantastic treasure recently. The Permadox statue of the Principality of Canopia. It was a bit light in my hands, but the Ambassador Polino was most generous.
Interesting. We finally caught Agent Hicks's killer, and I was able to witness Mr. Alba's teary eyes. It feels good to finally bring everything to a close. I received another offer from Interpol to work another case in cooperation with them. However, the Cadopian courts evade. Cadopia's air is supposed to be very fresh, so my whip should find new vigor there. This little patrolman has been fired as of today, sir. I thought it was safe since we found the gun I had dropped. But I hadn't noticed that I had dropped my police badge, too. I guess what really broke the camel's back was that I couldn't find my badge. My little life has suddenly tripped into a dark black hole, sir. I think I'll go to the courthouse and file a complaint with Ruffles Man. Ruffles Man. Edgeworth. I was actually hoping to talk with Mr. Edgeworth a bit more than I did. But I've got to get going and return to Europe. I've still got a long way to go and a lot of stuff to study there. Next time I help Mr. Edgeworth on a case, I'm going to do it as a real forensic scientist. I'm sure he's going to need all the help I can give him, scientifically. Not tonight. I think I'm gonna start it, investigations. Here, I'll talk about the plan when all the things are over. Because the kidnapping was staged, I was let off easy. But I won't be going outside much anytime soon, but that's okay. The only prison I'm forever trapped in is the cage in my heart. The guard down at the detention center, well, when he's on guard duty, he has such a cold look in his eyes, just like that prosecutor. Stop it, Lord! When will you ever learn to stop being a prisoner of love?
It appears that there are all sorts of drama that takes place outside of the courtroom. Since we judges are here day in and day out, I've already heard a few rumors, but apparently Mr. Edgeworth teamed up with a thief and became a detective. Maybe I should team up with a bailiff and try to become a lawyer or something.
Whew, I barely escaped death yet again. Yeah, but boy, were we lucky to have Mr. Edgeworth help us out, huh? Yeah, but because I lost the key, I got fired from my security guard job. Don't let it get you down, Maggie. You still got me. You're right, sir. I won't be sad. I'm going to pick myself up and get through this. I wonder what my next job should be. Ooh, this is actually kind of fun. Why not come to Cadopia for your summer vacation? We have coupons aplenty. Right now our embassy is proud to present our Let's Investigate a Murder show. Although recreating that particular case has created a few small fires of its own. Then we had a few problems with the fire marshals, but the next event will be great. It will be an attraction entitled Capture the Yadogarasu. Of course, I hope to enlist Kei's help in creating our latest attraction. I can't believe that Mindy ditched me and went to Japan. But it's okay, because that's how I met Miharu. We're planning to go to Paris soon and start a business. We're going to sell blue ocean dogs. They'll sell like hot dogs for sure. A blue hot dog and a blue bun. I guarantee it'll turn your tongue and your face blue. Hot dog. I know it's not really the type of art or type of work to do, or really at all, but so I noticed that I really haven't seen the guy in the blue suit at all recently. I wonder what's up. Well, the next time we meet, I'm gonna make him eat one of my dogs. I'm not really the type to work a lot or at all, really. Oh, that's what he said. And he means Phoenix, right? His best friend from childhood? Yeah. Suit, and the man in the blue suit, nice. Today I gave testimony in court today, as a member of the Yadogarasu. Yo, Mr. Bad, you look well, all things considered. By the way, have you noticed that elements within the ring have begun moving? They're probably fighting over who should succeed over who should be the next boss. Although, to be honest, I wish I could forget I'd ever heard of that smuggling ring. Long Tzu says, thoroughly bite the poisonous snake from head to tail. No one runs afoul of the law and escapes its wolf's fangs. I'll get to all that yet. Ah, youth, when did I become so old, I wonder? I've begun noticing the gray hairs in my beard more. I'm thinking of retiring my mirror. I was the Pink Princess, the Pink Badger, and the Pink Badger all those 2 days. Talk about busy. But it's alright because I got a letter from my beloved Edgy Poo. Please take care of your hip, and when you wish to speak, first take off your headpiece. Oh, in the span of 2 days. What does he mean by that last statement? It's not like I enjoy being under a headpiece every time I see him, and then some creepy fuzzy pink animal, then I was the Pink Princess, the great hero for childhood, but never ever since I've set his head on my head, although to wear my own costume or something. March 17th, 4:33 p.m., High Prosecutor's Offices. Room 1202. Whoop! I feel so much better now that the trial's over. And as always, your legal prowess was top-notch, sir. Yeah, and nothing beat the look on Mr. Alba's face when you revealed the ring's secrets. I was amazed. You're like a totally different person when you step into a courtroom. Mr. Edgeworth is always 10 times fiercer in court. Based on the information Mr. Alba offered up, they've begun large-scale operations to clean up the rest of the ring, but I'm happy to leave Franziska and Agent Lang. To Franziska and Agent Lang. So what are your plans now, Kay? Oh, well, we've taken care of the creep who killed my father, so I'm not sure. Hey, I know, maybe I'll just keep on being Mr. Edgeworth's assistant. Are you still trying to steal my job, pal? Just kidding, just kidding. I can't steal something so important to you, Gummy. Phew, what a relief. Kay? Yes? Even after all that's happened, are you still planning to become a great thief? Of course. But I don't want to tarnish the legend of the noble Yadagrasu. So I'm going to hold off on doing anything until I make a tight 3-person team of my own. A 3-person team? A 3-person team of young beauties the same age as me, if possible. With those criteria, I highly doubt you'll find the 2 other people you need. My father chose to fight for the truth. I think that's what was so noble about him. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, the only things I will ever steal are the truths that have been hidden away. I'm going to work extra hard to make a world where the Yadagrasu isn't needed. Let's both strive for such a future. Well, I guess it's time for me to get going. I see. Oh, hello, Bloodluster. Okay, keep your chin up and stay strong, okay? And don't be a stranger. Don't worry, I'll be back. I'll be sure to break the lock on the window and sneak in. If you could, I'd appreciate it if you came in through the building's front door. It's okay, Mr. Edgeworth. The lock on my window at home has been broken forever. Oh, and one last thing before I go. Let's take a group picture, just the 3 of us. Yeah, a commemorative photo. Every big case has to end with one. No. Hey, why not? Don't tell me you're camera shy, Mr. Edgeworth. Of course not, Detective. Come on, Mr. Edgeworth, I'm taking the picture now. Hey, come back here! Mr. Edgeworth, you can't run away from this, sir. Hey, Detective Gumshoe! Stop that! I can't be seen doing that! Okay, I'm totally taking it now. Say cheese! And thus the long tale of the KG8 incident came to a close. It saw the demise of a smuggling ring and the birth of a little great thief. But there is little time to rest and relax. For I am eager to tackle the investigation into a new case. The reason for my eagerness is my want to pursue the truth and my want to believe in the strength of those who use the power of the law for good. As someone who has chosen to live my life as a prosecutor, that is my new creed. I love that picture. It's such a nice ending picture. So we had Episode 1, Turnabout Visitor, Episode 2, Turnabout Airlines, Episode 3, The Kidnapped Turnabout, Episode 4, Turnabout Reminiscence, and Episode 5, Turnabout Ablaze. So that was Miles Edgeworth Ace Attorney Investigations. So here's the deal. Here is the plan. Just because of school and whatnot, I don't think I have enough time to do the full, or like a committed playthrough like that, like of Investigations 2 until Christmas break, which will be Christmas break. The first day of Christmas break is December 22nd. So I'll start maybe that Friday, so the 21st. So in 13 days or so, we'll start Ace Attorney Investigations 2. And then I'm glad you were able to watch it too, because I'm glad you enjoyed it, and it was nice to have a few dedicated viewers, because usually I don't have such dedicated viewers. For sure. Yeah. No doubt. That is good, because then I won't be spoiling anything. Anyway, thank you so much for being a part of this, Portland, of this journey, and also to Getway. He might be asleep. He or she might be asleep at this point, but yeah, so thank you to everyone, and this is a great stream, great game, so, but now we are finished, so good night.